Hello, this is L. Wilger here, and this video is primarily for new players or people who would like to create a new character, starting a new game. Today, I want to talk about creating a new adventurer and the option to restart the whole process by closing the game, opening up the game again, and attempting to have a better set of skills that the player may want. And I'm going to use the indentured servant as an example because I've collected some skill totals from him, and the indentured servant is a very good choice for a fairly well-rounded character for a new player in Last Winter. He's kind of like the master of none, like jack of all trades, master of none. But he's a good survivalist. He won't. I don't think he'll be the best in anything except maybe cooking. He might have a very good cooking skill. He might, but the indentured servant and the American Indian are both good choices if you're new to Last Winter, you want to try, or if you want to try something like to experiment. But I'm going to use the indentured servant because I've already used him already. So let's read first of all what an indentured servant is. To pay for their boat, ride to the New World, many young men and women became indentured servants. So, if you want to play as a woman, or I guess all of these, or most of these could be women. I guess you could be a female indentured servant, you could be a female American Indian or Native American or Native. You could be a female marooner. There are female pirates. Not sure if you could be a female Jesuit. I think they're pretty strict on that. You could be a female born-again justice. I mean, all these pictures are male, but you could always just say it's just because it's an alpha, you know. Not sure if you can be a given though. Not sure if you can be a female given because they're with the Jesuits, and I think they'll be sticklers for having women around them. I'm not sure about the Tunchment. Not sure if historically if a woman could be a Trunchment. I think if you're a native, you could be a Trunchman because you know the native language and you're speaking with the French and the English. And the noble could be maybe a woman as well. You know, perhaps she's run away from her husband, or her father's died and she decided to go and live in the New World and be free. You know, even though all these images are male, if you're a new player and if you want to play as a female player, or you are a female and you want to have a female player, don't let these pictures define, like, oh, I can only play as a man. Alright, so first of all, let's look at this. Get your skills, and you always have 25% to add to your skills. So wherever these are, you can always add 5% at a time to each skill. So you can add 5% 5 times. Just so you know, this is the 6th time I've looked at a character. It's always 10%. I believe this is a very solid number. I think 17% also is about the same. So these might be very solid numbers to expect when you create this character. Alright, let's run a look at it. Alright, so I'm going to bring up the calculator, and while you're looking at the skills, I'm going to quickly calculate and see how this character compares to the last 6 characters I made. I'm going to calculate their combat first. But it looks like combat is the weakest skill always, which is not a surprise. I think language is usually the second weakest. No, not the weakest, the least amount of points into that. And then senses maybe come up as third. Yeah, third. Okay. And then your knowledge is, well, by far the most because you have so many skills. One, two, three, one, two, three. Yeah, almost. If you had just 10% in each of these skills, it would be almost as much as language. But that's why knowledge will always be the highest skill. Alright, but we're going to add up combat to see how well the combat is for this character. Alright, so this comes to a 72, which I think is the lowest I've had. Actually, I think it ties with one of them. Nope, it is the lowest. So I think this is a very low combat skill. But an indentured servant, you don't play the indentured servant for combat. I think the main reason you play the indentured servant is for these survival skills right here. All of them. Alright, now we're going to add up these senses. 39, 37. Alright, so we got senses is 165, which looks about average or above average. Actually, it's the second highest so far. Alright, so these senses will help you, perhaps, I think touch will help you find a cutting stone, or is it sight? Not sure now. But some of these senses will help you perform actions. And that's through the languages. Languages is going to be 130. I can tell that one. It's a nice even number. So languages is about the same. It's alright. Now we'll add up the knowledge skills. Oof, that health skill. This first aid is looking a bit poor though, just saying that. So if you have that kind of skill, you don't want to get hurt. You can always put your extra points into it. But the cooking skill, I think, is the highlight of the indentured servant. I think almost always it'll be the highest skill you have, besides French, because French is always 100. So for knowledge, we're going to make that 291. I'm going to add the total up. Then we got 658, which is not that great. It's kind of below. It's not the least, but it's about right in the middle of. So yeah. Alright, so if you can try to think about some of these stats, maybe think about the total, and I'm going to close this out and start a new character. I'm not going to calculate this new character, but I'm going to just, I won't do the calculator. I'll try to rough estimate it. I'm going to create a new character. I'm going to go to the same character, indentured servant. Right now, I can immediately see the language will be less. Language is now a total of 117 instead of 130. The senses look maybe a little bit lower. Let's just say 40. We'll make that a 40. 40, 40, 40 is 120, 157. It's a little bit lower. The combat actually looks a lot better. Let's see if it's true though. 24, 49, 50, 60, 83. So that combat comes better. And the survival skills, let's go down. 20, 10, 10, 40, 70, 80, 130, 140, 160, 170, 190, 200, 240, 250 because we add 1 and 9, so that's 10. 253, 265, 207, 265. Yes, so this would be 277, 287, 200 and... oh my gosh, I'm terrible at math, sorry. I think this will be 300 actually. This will be 300 here. Because this will be 87 plus 13. So it's the 300 and 313. So that's actually a fair amount of knowledge right there. That's the third highest. But just because it's the total number of skills doesn't mean it's necessarily a good player. One of the biggest flaws I can see right here is combat. Is hand-to-hand, unarmed combat. You're rarely going to fight hand-to-hand. You can quickly pick up a cutting stone and use it as your weapon. I wouldn't advise you to fight hand-to-hand combat in Last Winter. But besides that, and the first aid is lacking. But we're just... so now we look at the skills. It can vary quite a bit. 641, 761, 693, 651, 705, 658. I added the plus 25 because you can add it into whatever you want. I'm just going to quickly add it into a skill. Let's say I wanted to play this character. And I'm completely new to the game. What I would do is I would just boost up all of these skills to be above 20. I want to increase my health because in case you get hurt and you're new to the game, you might need some help. And let's do orientation because you might get lost. Let's do your summer band. And let's do Quebec so I can show you about the river. And we're going to do your starting items. The indentured servant, I think, comes with a random selection of items. Not random, but it can vary. So we get a trade musket with 1 shot. Is it 1 shot? Yes, 1 shot. Alright, so you start off in this forested area. And if you're new to the game and you choose Quebec, you might think, oh, okay, let's go this way. Let's go up north, and let's go east, let's go west. But actually, the best option will be go south. Well, not the best, but the south. So from here, you can go and find Quebec. If you start in Quebec and you want water and food, you could start right here and start collecting wood, making a harpoon, catching fish, making stuff like that. You can survive. I forget which way Quebec is. But anyways, this would be great if you're new to the game. Because you have your water, you have your food. It might take you a while to catch a fish, but you can always go up north. You can always go a little bit up north to find a pond to catch frogs. But if you needed water, the river is there. Water will be your first priority. Alright, let's look at this inventory again. Alright, now I'm going to close the game, start a new game. And this time I'm going to focus on if you don't like your inventory to begin with. Let's say, oh man, it only has 1 shot. I only have 1 shot with the trade musket. So you're basically a marooner right there. Actually, I think a marooner will start it out with more than you did. Because they'll have a bottle of rum as well. So let's just do indentured servant again. Let's do the same skills. Bam, 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 bam. Is there one that's lacking a bit? Yep, right there. Let's do Quebec again with your normal character equipment. And like as it says, it may vary a lot depending on your archetype, but also is because there's a bit of randomness in the game. Oh, let's look at this character. This character starts out with an axe. Look at that needle. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to have fun actually. No, not fun. We're supposed to be doing educational things. So he starts with some food, something to trade, some fat, and a needle. Not bad. And he starts out with a stone axe, which can be quite useful. So now I just want to fight this bear on day 1 and see how good my skill is. Let me bring up the sound now. Look at that, got a bear on day 0. I hear myself getting beat up though. Look at that, I am beat up. Well, no, I got minor. Minor, no bleeding, so that's good. Very minor, and minor bleeding. So that, ooh, serious though. So, I mean, here I killed a bear right off the bat. I'm near Quebec. So if I was to, say, skin the hide with my axe, I just hurt myself, didn't I? Yeah, I hurt myself. Sometimes when you skin, you hurt yourself. But, you know, if I can get that hide, I can sell it very quickly, or I can trade for some very nice items. So, sometimes if you know, I wouldn't reset just because there's no bear on your screen. But you can see that the starting places are quite different. See, there's a heavy pelt too, 11 pounds. That's not a bad start. Now I have lots of meat there as well. But here's a lake. I was lucky, I think. I think I could have suffered a lot worse. Like this would take a while to heal, and I might have to rip up some clothes to get that. You see that? I'm bleeding out. You see that blood on the ground? Or I didn't have blood, but it's minor bleeding. If you have minor bleeding, you will actually bleed out. Right here, my health will go down, down, down a little bit. That'd be hilarious if like Quebec is supposed to be here, but there's water here instead. But starting by the river will give you a lot of opportunity to drink water and fish, and it'll be easy for navigation. You can go one way and we'll hit Quebec, or go the other way and we'll go to Montreal. Either way is good. I'm betting that Quebec is this way, but not sure. I never play this starting location, so that's why I'm not sure. But as you can see, the first thing that you'll get affected by is most likely thirst. So that's why it's good to have a good water source. So if you're new to the game and you want to try some things out, do that. Go for the river. I went the wrong way with that. Unless, do you think, is Quebec right not on the river? Is it up above the river? No, I think Quebec is on the river. Alright, but I'm not going to do that. I'm getting a little bit impatient now. But you see that the starting materials are different, and just for fun we'll start a new character the same way in the same place and we'll see what they have. So if you're unhappy with your character, especially with the indentured servant, I think the items will change a lot. Also the Jesuit and Churchman might have been given, but I think if you choose the born again justice, you'll almost always start out like dirt poor. this one looks like a new character. If I was to play, I would have chosen this character. Look at his high knowledge skills. Quite a few skills up in the 30s. Or above the 30s, or around the 30s. This is great. Let's bring this dog up. Just get it there. See, this character would have been a great character. That was an A+ character for me. Here's the items. You get some clothes, a knife, pistol. See, this character I think is actually better than the last character. You get food, the pemmican. You get water, and you get a water bottle. So that means that you can travel away from water and drink it in case of emergency. You can get threads or bandages from these clothes. You have a pistol, and you can get some food to cook. So you see, this character is the best one so far, I believe. So, let me do a summary of this video before I go off topic. I feel myself going that way. If you aren't happy with your starting skills, just feel free to create a new character. And you can try out to get a nice number of skills. And if you aren't happy with what you start with, then you can always restart again, because some of these will give a nice initial boost. Like for instance, the arrow will be worthless. The hallucinating plants will be worthless. You know? But these other items are very good. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I actually might start creating a video on this specific class, and maybe we can find out what they start with, so you have an idea, a rough idea. I think if you start with a soldier, you'll always have 2 muskets. Someone mentioned that. Who was it? Artorias? Arise? Someone on the Discord channel mentioned that. If you have 2 muskets, if you're a soldier, you'll always have 2 muskets. Let's try that out. That, not a bad start right there. He has a 4 survivor skills, but he has a pawn immediately. Yep, there you are. 2 muskets, knives, powder horn, bullet, and some food. So this is okay too. I think my last soldier also had a water gourd for water. So that's not bad. So I think a soldier will always have 2 muskets if you choose for that basic equipment. The other items might change a bit. Well, not for the powder horn. The powder horn and the musket balls will be there. And I think you'll have 1 melee weapon. Or 2 melee weapons, actually. Let's try it again. 2 muskets, 2 melee weapons, powder horn. And there you are, yep. So it looks like the soldier will always have 2 close combat weapons. You know, it looks like actually 1 will always be a scalping knife. It looks like. All right, but anyways, I will do that later in the detail. Just if you're new to Last Winter, don't be afraid to try it out, and don't be afraid to try to restart over. But I must admit, I think one of the good things about playing herb games is making the best of the situation, not having the cushiest start, or the start that you want to. I believe I asked Lance what his favorite, not what his favorite character. Yeah, I asked him what his favorite character was, and he said he liked the native, but he said he'd like to play all characters because it shows that one character is not greater than the rest. You know, they can all be played, they can all survive the game. I think that's the best thing. If you can play every character, let's just say for 2 weeks, let's make it 2 weeks, then that's good. I mean, you're pretty well rounded in the game. You know, you can do that, then you're you're not too dependent on a certain skill. You know. But What is this? Yeah, the skill. Alright, I'm rambling now. Apologies. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and sorry if it's a bit confusing. I may not put this up. I feel like I'm rambling. Alright, I'll see you later. Alright, bye-bye.